know you'll make a way.
All right, hello and welcome to this week's episode of 25 Live at Home. We are continuing our February series where we talk about health and safety. This week we welcome Deb Vandergast, and I'll let her tell you a little bit more about herself, but she's going to talk to us a little bit about vaccines. So would you please again tell us your name and what you do?
Well, my name is Deb Vandergast. I am the child care nurse consultant for Johnson County Public Health. I serve about 180 child care programs in the county, including in-home and centers. And I am also the Iowa representative for grandparents for vaccines.
So vaccines can sometimes be scary because of the needle. I know my girls were always terrified of it. Mm-hmm. But can you tell us more about the safety of vaccines?
Okay. Well, as we know, vaccines are all very highly tested, and they don't give them to the public until they know they're safe. Now, there have been rare cases where there's been a contaminated batch or one that wasn't properly prepared, and those were immediately removed from the market. The most common cause of a vaccine serious reaction is usually an allergic reaction, but those are even very rare. They've only had 5 documented cases in the United States of death from severe allergic reaction to vaccines in the last 10 years. And, you know, we have millions of doses of vaccines every year, so it's less than 1 in a million risk of even having a serious reaction, and death is very unlikely. We have more deaths from peanut allergies than we do from vaccines. So it's really safe, and they're proven effective. Before we had vaccines, 1 in 5 children didn't live to their 5th birthday. I mean, if you look in cemeteries, there used to be children's sections because death in children was common. We just don't see that anymore. So no, they're very safe. But as far as the needle being scary, well, some vaccines, they've actually are working towards doing a nasal spray. You can actually get a nasal spray for your flu vaccine now. But there's ways to make it less painful. And kids, you're going to like this one. Bring a tablet, play a video game. It actually will reduce your sense of pain because you're distracted. Sugar or sweetness helps too, so suck on a sucker. Or maybe, you know, give a piece of candy to a child. Make sure it's not a choking hazard. And that actually helps. Singing songs can help distract. And for babies, breastfeed or give them a bottle. That sucking helps comfort them. So, and you can also ask your doctor or whoever is giving you the shot if they have a numbing spray. They use cold and basically the same kind of pain reliever that your dentists use or in teething gel to kind of numb your skin a little bit so it doesn't hurt. But they have to put them on a few minutes in advance, so make sure you ask before they're ready to give you the shot.
Right, yeah.
My girls have both used that, and they called it Elsa spray.
The Elsa spray. I love it.
The Elsa spray.
But the big thing is for parents, keep a positive attitude. If you're acting scared, you'll scare your kids. Mm-hmm. Instead say, hey, this is a rite of passage. We both are getting our COVID and flu shot so that we can stay healthy all winter. And then let's go get an ice cream afterwards to celebrate.
Great. Thank you for that advice, and that's very good to know. So some of us may have heard the term natural immunity. Can you tell us the difference between natural immunity from a disease and getting vaccinated from that disease?
Well, natural immunity means getting exposed to the disease, getting sick, so then your body builds antibodies. But that's really risky. I mean, let's talk about measles. We've had 3 people die from measles last year, and but yet nobody died from the measles vaccine. And, you know, what was it? I have to look at my thing here, but I believe the highest rate of hospitalizations we've been seeing in measles is in children 5 and younger. And so, and with measles, you can wind up with permanent damage from encephalitis, swelling in the brain. It can affect your immune system. And some diseases, people who survive these diseases may have lifelong blindness, deafness, intellectual disability. It's just not worth the risk. Whereas getting a vaccines are great because it's kind of amazing how they work. It's fooling your body into thinking it's being attacked when it's not. It's just taking a little sugar or protein from the surface of a virus, or getting your own body to create that protein instead of it being injected into your body. And then your body goes, oh, look, an invader, quick, build an army. We need special weapons just for this invader. And they build up the army, and it's like, oh, it really was an invader. But when the invader really comes, the army is ready and armed. And so your body can react quick before the invader, that virus or bacteria, can multiply and build a bigger army for themselves. So it attacks while the invader's still small. So what a great idea. And they're finding more and more ways to do that for more and more illnesses. They're still coming out with new vaccines. So,
and norovirus would be a great one.
Yes, that was terrible when it goes through.
Yeah. I like the visual, so I appreciate that. I think that all of us can understand that and how that helps our bodies to work better. So thank you. Something we might be wondering is, how do vaccines actually work? I think that's kind of what you just explained.
So people were concerned because the COVID vaccine was new and it was very different. This mRNA basically works similar to DNA to tell your body, here's the recipe to build a protein. And it was saying, here's the recipe to build a protein that mimics a protein on the COVID virus, so your body will build that army. Other ones may use a dead virus or a piece of that virus. They did for a while have a live virus for polio, but then that was weakened. But I believe they've gotten away from that entirely because there was rare cases of it causing polio. But so it's pretty neat how it works. It's pretty simple. Cool thing is we actually have one vaccine now that prevents cancer.
Oh, wow.
And that's the HPV vaccine. Yep. Actually, 90% of people will have been exposed to HPV, gotten HPV by the time they're 60. Most people, though, their immune systems manage to fight it off, and they may never have any symptoms at all and it goes away. Or they can have what's called a latent infection where they have no symptoms for a decade or more. Now, my voice is kind of hoarse. It's because I have HPV warts growing on my vocal cords. Everybody, it's not uncommon to get warts on your hands. Yeah. That's HPV. Wow. The difference between the HPVs there's some that grow on your genitals or on the inside of your body. And so the vaccine is to prevent those. Did you know 100% of cervical cancers are caused by HPV?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's why they push it for younger kids.
Yes, because if we wait until kids or adults and they've been exposed, it's too late. The vaccine won't work. That vaccine wasn't available when I was young, and I have HPV on my vocal cords. They can't cut out the infected cells without cutting a hole in my vocal cords. And so they're constantly regrowing. They just shave off what's growing on it. I have surgery every 6 to 12 weeks for the rest of my life. It's incurable. It's like $100,000 a year. I have a week after every surgery where I cannot talk. I can't do my job, go out and visit people and stuff. I have to just work on the computer, and I can't even talk to my own family. And that's really frustrating. But the sad thing is, more kids than adults have this condition because they get it from their moms during childbirth. And so vaccinating your children for this, for HPV, not only is protecting them for potentially getting cancers in the future, because this can also cause cancer in your mouth and throat, and it can cause cancer for men too, but it actually is protecting their future children. Because even your son could give it to his wife, and then during pregnancy it could be passed to the baby. And like I said, uncurable. I'm in a support group, and I've talked to adults who've had it since having surgery since they were 6 months old, that they're counting, they're in the hundreds now and still going. So it's really sad. And for kids, because they have little airways, they often have to have a breathing tube. So it's great. I wish they had it when I was younger. I would
No
have
kidding.
never had to deal with this.
Yes.
So
Thank goodness they have it now.
now another vaccine preventable disease, the MMR vaccine covers 3 diseases, and one of them is German measles, rubella. That's what the R in MMR is. And they didn't figure out until about the early 90s that kids needed another booster later when they were older. And I didn't get that. I was college age at the time, but I wasn't in college. They went around to the colleges vaccinating women. And I caught, I was Iowa's first congenital rubella case in I think it was 32 years.
Oh, wow.
With my second pregnancy. I was lucky. It was not early in my pregnancy, but that baby still was very sick when it was born and nearly died.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember standing in line at my high school. We were all in line for the booster. Our class, we have a webpage.
Yeah.
And we were all remembering that day together.
Yeah.
We're all standing in line to get that MMR booster.
My mom had a friend who's had a teenage son who was blind, deaf, and an intellectual disability from a rubella infection in the first trimester. So, and of course, back in the day, every summer there would be outbreaks back in the 1950s of polio. And these kids had to live in this giant metal container that helped them breathe because we didn't have vents back then. And when I was a home care nurse, I actually cared for an elderly man who had had polio as a kid and survived, and it came back when he was older. And he had to go back on a vent. He was completely paralyzed and eventually died. So these diseases are really scary. I'll take a shot in my arm, and when we talk side effects, your arm gets sore, you might get a fever. That means your immune system is working. I actually, if mine don't get sore, I get worried. Ooh, I'm not building the antibodies. I might get, the flu. And yes, you can still get sick sometimes after being vaccinated because maybe you were kind of under the weather when you got your shot and your immune system was busy fighting a cold and didn't build antibodies. And so when you don't have enough antibodies, when the invader comes and the invader goes, I'm charging in, and it takes longer for your body to fight back, but it'll fight back still. You'll be less sick and not sick for as long. And your risk of getting severely sick and having to go to the hospital is way, way down. So when people say, oh, I got the flu shot and I still got the flu, that happens sometimes. And if it happens right after you get the flu shot, within a week, you probably got exposed before you got the shot.
Yeah.
And it takes about a week for those invaders to build up a big enough army to make you sick. So it wasn't the flu shot that caused you to get sick. It literally is impossible for the flu shot to make you sick because it's literally not a live virus.
Yeah. Right. Well, and sometimes too, if I understand it correctly, there's different strains or different types of each flu, and they'll talk about that. And sometimes they might not get that strain in that recipe that they put in your arm. And then you still have better antibodies against it, even if it's not exactly correct.
If you get a flu shot every year, you have better immunity than if this is your first time getting a flu shot, because you kind of got broad immunity against many flu viruses. And so one that mutates might be able to sneak past your immune system a little bit, but your immune system will go, I think that looks familiar.
It's like flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So even if it's not perfectly the same type of
Yeah,
right. Okay. So you talked about this a little bit, but what it was like for children before we had vaccines. Did you have anything else you talked about in the 1950s when children would just, come down with polio and
it was just super scary. I mean, we generally had bigger families back then because kids died so frequently. I mean, pretty much every family could expect to lose at least one child. I grew up, my family had hosted a refugee family from Vietnam. They originally had 7 children. They had one adult child go with them, one that was stayed behind because she was married. Mm-hmm. But the other 5 children all died at the same time from smallpox. Oh. The water wasn't clean, and she bathed them, and all those smallpox sores got infected. All 5 children died at the same time. Mm. Yeah. It just, being a parent back then, it used to be a tradition to not, and it still is in some cultures, to not name your infant until their first birthday. Mm. Because the odds of them not living till their first birthday was so high, it was a way to not get too attached to them.
Oh, that's very sad.
Very sad. We couldn't imagine doing that today.
Right.
Yeah.
So this isn't on the sheet, but this is kind of heavy stuff for kids. Mm-hmm. Is there a way we can help them feel better about it and not so, like, other than saying it's not, the pain isn't there for very long and it helps long term? Is there another way that kids can understand we're not trying to scare them?
Right. We're giving you superpowers. It really is.
It is.
I mean, it's like magic that we have these vaccines, that it's not a medicine per se, it's making our own body stronger. And when people say, oh, but natural is better. Do you drink dirty water? Because that's very natural. But we treat our water with chlorine, and we filter it, and we take out all the bad bugs so that we can be healthier. And nobody says, oh, I'm going to drink dirty water because it's natural to make my body stronger. No, that's just gross.
Yeah.
Reality is, I want my body to be strong. I eat healthy, I exercise, I take my vitamins, and I get my vaccine. All my vaccines.
Right.
Thank you. That makes me feel better too.
Yeah. So, kids, muscle up.
Be that army. Build your army.
Build your army. Be strong and say, you, stay out of my body.
That's right.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you visiting us today.
All right. Stay healthy, kids.